So this weekend, Rangers got themselves a massive get out of jail free card, and it's Monday. I'm going to look back on the weekend's results. Don't really like talking about Celtic games, but this weekend we're probably going to have to, because there's a massive part of this weekend and this title race. I've pulled together all of the kind of match reactions, the comments, the tweets about that past weekend, and I'm going to discuss it with you guys. So we'll just get straight into it. So the first tweet I've got is from Johnny McFarlane. Rangers create 3.32 XG and get one goal. The sort of game that underlines the issue with Dessers, who needs 5 chances to be sure of a goal. At the other end, rarely seen such poor showing for the two Rangers centre-backs. They were ragdolled by Bear at times. Now, all credit to Bear. I think he had a really solid game. I think he was really physical, and that worked, successfully for him. I think, Shooter really struggled with him. Goldson really struggled with him. The full team struggled with him, to be honest. But at the end of the day, that when you look at that performance defensively, it was extremely poor. I mean, I don't know, for the first goal, I don't really know what Shooter was coming out to try to attempt there when he went in his arse. And at the same time, Goldson and Shooter were caught out in no man's land for the second goal, leaving Tavernier at the back post to, somehow managed to pick out a header in between 3 men that he was left to mark. And a lot of people can look at Butland and say, he should have done better at his front post. I mean, I don't know if I'm biased because of his previous performances this season, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, yes, it's at his front post, but, it was a strong header straight into the deck from point blank range. It could have really went anywhere. Let's be honest, if we're moving on to the offensive part of it, yes, Dessers is one of those players that's, polarising within the Rangers support. Some of them want nothing more to get rid of him, and there's a lot of people that kind of want all the other fan base to get off Dessers' back. At the end of the day, you don't really know what Dessers you're going to get in any given game. Is it going to be the Dessers that, gets 6 chances and scores 2? Or is it going to be the kind of Dessers that gets 10 chances and doesn't score any of them? Again, it's that inconsistency within the team. So Empire 1872 says, easy to blame the defence for that, but let's not kid ourselves on. Offensively, we weren't anything spectacular today either. Injuries are beyond a joke again. Yes, injuries is something we're definitely struggling with in that front line, and we always have struggled with it all season, but with the likes of Clement coming in the door, he's managed to navigate that successfully. And yes, it is easy to blame the defence for that, but at the end of the day, the whole team was poor. There wasn't a single player other than, the odd creative aspect of Yilmaz in that game, that creative spark he had. There wasn't really a player you could look at and point out and say, they had a pretty solid performance, or they kind of dragged the team, or it'd have been a lot worse off if this player wasn't involved. At the end of the day, it was a really poor overall team performance. It wasn't really down to tactics. I just think that, a lot of top key players within that team just had a bad day at the office. So, I mean, all of them seem to have a bad day at the office, and when that happens, it's only going to go one way. So on to the next one. The Lime Brand tweeted, today's match summed up, referee was beyond incompetent. I've got no words for that shown today. Goldson was utterly shambolic. No wingers is killing us. Raskin has went backwards at an alarming rate. Yes, Raskin kind of hasn't really looked like he's kicked on from that poor spell we had in the first quarter of the season. We all know for a fact that there's a good player in there with Raskin. Let's just hope he can pick up, regain his development before it inevitably ends up getting brushed to the side, shoved out the door and replaced. Now, the refereeing performance in general, yes, it could be it definitely was shambolic. It wasn't only shambolic in our game, it was shambolic in the likes of the Celtic game. Let's be honest, every single weekend, regardless of what team you've watched or what game you've watched between two different teams, it doesn't even need to be anything to do with the Old Firm. Every single weekend, the VAR team, the refereeing team, seem to take the spotlight, and when that's the case, and it's not just Rangers fans versus Celtic fans, conspiracy or blah 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 blah, when it's not just that and it's almost consuming the whole spotlight of the weekend. The FA need to realise that something needs to be done, whether it's additional training, whether it's, bringing in foreign referees. You don't really know. You just need to somehow figure out a way to improve the standard of refereeing, because at the end of the day, well, in my opinion, it's no conspiracy. I feel like, especially Rangers have been calling out for years the standard of refereeing within this country, and yes, VAR's been brought in and it has been shambolically used at this season so far, but there's still been beneficial moments for VAR. It just, at the end of the day, when you give the Scottish FA technology like VAR for the first good amount of seasons, it's only going to be seen in a certain light. This is Ibrox going back to the chances. So many chances, had enough to win 3 games here, but still can't find the equaliser. Now, let's be honest, it wasn't something, when we wanted Shankland in that transfer window, we wanted somebody who could almost hand us the title, and with that performance against Celtic, it looks like Shankland's still on that kind of form, and he'd have been the ideal player for us, because at the end of the day, we knew the chances weren't getting finished as much as we'd like, aside from the Hearts game. But at the end of the day, when we look at this title race, it's almost a weird one, because I know for a fact that, and we should all prepare for this, but both Rangers and Celtic will drop more points this season, and without even playing each other. I don't see us going to the end of the season without dropping points against teams lower down the table, and I don't see Celtic putting on a run either. And at the end of the day, if one of those two teams were capable of putting on a run, they'd easily completely run away with the title, but I just don't see that happening. So to all Rangers fans, have that expectation, keep the head. This is a title race, get behind the team. There's going to be more dips. Clement told us that when he came in. It's going to be a complete roller coaster, so buckle up, strap in, just get on with it. So Joshua Barry, Rangers scored 5 from 1.34 XG against Hearts, and none in open play from 3.17 XG yesterday. Combined with an error-strewn defence at both goals, they needed one or the other to bail them out against Motherwell. As I said, everything that could have went wrong for us went wrong throughout that game. We didn't really seem like scoring, and we didn't really have full confidence in the defence either. That's a deadly combination, because usually so far this season we have relied on one or the other. Usually in most games you end up either we're putting 5 away against teams, but we just somehow manage to outscore them, or it's the other way about. We defend really well, hit a couple of counters and manage to kind of scrape a result. At the end of the day, the result is all that matters, and if you lose, it's a bad day at the office. If you somehow manage to win without a performance, in the fans' view, you're still going to be heroes regardless, especially when it's, in my opinion, such a scrappy title race this year. That's a perfect word for it. It's so scrappy. You don't know week to week who's going to drop points against what team, and to be honest, it's still quite an exciting thing to watch. Now, luckily, after that game, when we thought, in my opinion, that Celtic were probably going to steamroll Hearts, they managed to drop points, and let's be honest, I think I couldn't even tell you how long ago Rangers and Celtic both lost on the same weekend. So in that aspect, Rangers, from our point of view, we were extremely lucky, but on the other hand, it's still massively annoying the fact that they've dropped points and we couldn't take advantage of that. I know we played before them, but it could have been 5 points clear, but it's really hard. You're still going to grumble about it, but any Rangers fan out there who are sitting, seeing the result coming in for that Hearts game that didn't feel, breathe a sigh of relief, at the end of the day, we're still 2 points top. We're still the team that needs to be chased. We still have the advantage in that aspect. As I said, yes, we're going to drop points, they're going to drop points. It's going to be a fun title race. So, as I said, strap in. So what I want you to do is I want you to jump into the comments, let me know what you thought about this weekend's set of results, what you thought specifically about the Rangers game, what you thought about this video and the opinions within it. So jump into the comments, let us know that. Remember, the BlueSea channel memberships are still a thing. The link to that is down in the description next to the socials, and I'll see you next time.